Hello, I'm Devil Dog from Virginia. We call it Love Country. And I've been in this CB fun thing for somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 plus years. When I came home from the Marine Corps, I got into trucking. And one of my buddies talked me into buying a linear. And while I was in the Marine Corps, my gunnery sergeant, he talked me into buying a CB because he had no one to talk to. So I got indoctrinated in the Marine Corps. But here I was in 1987, just home from the Marine Corps, driving around the city in a dump truck. Had a Cobra 29 that my dad gave me. Everybody was raving, that's the CB for a trucker to have. So I was riding around and my buddy, he had a 150 gray. And he said, you need to get a linear. So I went to the local CB shop and I got the back counter deal. In the back counter deal, they pulled out the amplifiers and I figured if my buddy had a 150, I'd buy a 300. I bought the 300, had it installed, didn't know anything about SWR tuning or anything. And went out, I was having a ball. But when I got home, I learned what CB radio really was, because after I bought the linear and I talked to all the truck drivers and learned how to key on someone, that was the fun part. That's what excited, keying. And so then I bought another one and put it in a mobile. Didn't know what I was doing. Someone told me that you should get on channel 22. The people in the city of Richmond talked on 22. And it was a very, very good time. So I listened to them fuss, cuss, and raise all kinds of hell. I was hooked. I wanted to do what they did and be who they were. And then they said, you know, you got power. Why don't you go to channel 28? I think it was, no, it's 26. And start talking skip. I said, skip? It's like, yeah, that's when you hear people from other states and you try to talk to them. Everybody's trying, but if they call your name, you win. I started a little skip talking, but I just like local. I like mud ducking with the locals, talking crap, keying around the block. And then one day I got into another hobby. CB got, okay, I did all I could do. So after that, I got into bass-offs. Sold all my CB equipment, and got a high-powered amplifier put in my van and a bunch of speakers. Did that, and did that, and I did that. Then I bought a house. And I was like, oh, everyone says CB is so much better when you have a tower. So I put up an antenna. I bought a 3500Z box, a Henry 2K3, and an Elkin 4.2 before driving. In the building of the antenna, the storm took my antenna down and all my aspirations with it. I'm sorry, I'm not talking CB, I'm talking ham. Took my heart out of the game. I got rid of the tower at the junkyard. I wouldn't let nobody have a piece. I scrapped it. My friends called by my house, hey man, was that your antenna I seen at the scrapyard? Why did I said, man, I'm sad, I'm sour, I'm bitter, and nobody was gonna win off my loss. And so I kept all the boxes I had in the corner, kept the radio, kept the ground plane, and I started riding motorcycles. Well, one day I found out that my mobility had issues. I couldn't ride a motorcycle anymore. And I started building a base station. That was probably 2018. And I got turned on to Jimmy Jam, AKA Team Jimmy. They still had CB shops. In Richmond, they had this one called K&W, and all the CBers hung out at the CB shop. So I met this guy from Richmond. A lot of people don't know him. He was a truck driver. His call sign was 503. He had 1,000 handles. T-shirt, shorty, Big Bubba Willie. I met one of the legends at Keydown. Shoot, what is his name? I know his last name, but darn it, I can't think of his hand. Motown. He goes to all the breaks and keys to this day. He's slowing down because he's not as young as he used to be. I met Painkiller in 1989. PK out of the Carolinas. Someone told me when I blew up my 667V that he could fix it. Now what I'll tell you about PK, he the realest CBer I ever met. Never had an ego. From meeting a little young guy in his early 20s with a blown up amplifier, anytime I saw him, he knew my handle and he remembered me. A lot of people I met, I have to tell them my handle every time I see them. I'm not mad about it, but some people are in it for the community, some people are in it for the ego, in my opinion. I like the community. I've met Bam Bam in the Carolinas. Now, Mr. Bam Bam, he's been up and down. He used to be a big-time Dave May here back in the 2000s, him and Mr. Gunn. Bam Bam built the truck, Mr. Gunn keyed it. Everybody thought Joe built the truck, owned the truck. Everything that Mr. Gunn did was because Bam Bam took him under his wing. CB is about talking stuff. Everybody thinks about how big your station is, but it's really, everybody enjoys how much trash you talk. People listen to the Watergates and they listen to what you say. I still say Switchblade is the best trash talker I've ever heard. Now, there may be some people that went beyond me, but when I listen to Switchblade on the radio, I don't need to talk. I just want to hear what he got to say. I talk to him to hear what he got to say. If I can't reach him, I listen to what he got to say. That's my favorite because I know a lot of people talk trash, but most people make it personal. It's not supposed to be personal, in my opinion. Everybody's in it for what they're in it for. You know, you go to work for what you want to achieve. My thing is talk my trash, have my fun. Back to Bam Bam. He taught me about theory and understanding radio theory.
Thanks.
And from there, I learned to sort through what they call radio. I call it voodoo radio. It's just ideas that people run back and forth that don't have any basis in antenna theory or AM theory. And I started becoming more effective. When you become more effective, you have more fun. So I really give Mr. Bam Bam a lot of credit. I think so. So anyway, from Bam Bam, I started learning how to do some things for myself. About 3 years ago, right around the heart of the pandemic, me and my buddy Nighthawk got together. I told him, I said, look, I want to take my antenna down and I want to build my own. He came by my house because I'd had a fall and I couldn't do the things I used to do. And he said, I'll help you. I didn't ask him, he volunteered. Showed up one day, let's take the tower down. We laid the tower down, we took the antenna off. I started getting the materials I needed to build a bigger, better antenna. Anything I needed to do that I couldn't do, he was willing to help. And because of his willingness to help me, we got an antenna built. I got it, it wasn't all the way 100%. But I told him, I said, man, I'm so appreciative. We're gonna leave my project and we're going to your house. And what I said was, at your house, I'm not leaving until you're straight. Well, like I said, my buddy told me, go to channel 22. At this time, it's 1987. And from there to now, it's just been a rise in the crap talking game. I'm Devil Dog, and that's my story.